Welcome, everyone. It is a glorious day today. Today's Thursday. Wait, does that mean it's Thanksgiving for my American brothers and sisters in law? Is that what that means? I think it is today. Um, is that so, KZ? Is it Thanksgiving?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And so today, normally you'd say be thankful, but thankfulness is a virtue. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That's from a Shakespeare play. Shakespeare? Ooh, you are ready today. He is ready to assume a virtue if you have it not. So, for instance, if you were one to complain all the time, well, then perhaps today, let the whole day ring true of thanksgiving. Be thankful for everything from the smallest to the largest thing. Just be thankful today. Thanksgiving is a virtue. It is a, what's the word I want to say besides virtue? I don't know, but it'll come to me. It's Thanksgiving. Perhaps you don't say thank you for anything, right? You know how sometimes we get caught up, and as you will know, month end is right around the corner. And so maybe you think you don't have time to be thankful, but assume a virtue if you have it not. What if gratitude wasn't the only virtue you wanted to have? An attribute, that is the word. Thanksgiving or thankfulness or gratitude is an attribute. It's an attribute because we usually say thank you for something that we received. So the thankfulness is attributed to something else. But you see, a virtue comes from within yourself that you cultivate. So, what virtue today would you like? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self control. Allegedly, those are the fruits of the Spirit. Oh, the virtues, aren't they? You see, assume a virtue if you have it not. And today being Thanksgiving, well, that's the easiest thing to do. That's the easiest virtue to start with. Thank you. Thank you. Wherever you go today, whoever you encounter, thank you. That's it. Assume a virtue if you have it not. At first, it will feel kind of phony. It'll feel kind of fake to you. At first, it will. Think about it. Somebody flips you off, you say, thank you. And that's not what you want to say, is it? No. You want to let those birds fly free too. But in the beginning, it feels kind of weird, kind of awkward, right? But that's only because you haven't been doing it for very long. So let today be your day of practice to assume the virtue of thankfulness if you have it not. It is Thanksgiving after all, so run with it. Christmas is coming up, right? And that's where we say peace and goodwill towards men. But do we really understand that? Peace is within. It comes from within oneself as a result of, as a result of what, you may ask? Well, remember that lecture from a few nights ago? And Neville said to trust the immutable law. It is the law that never changes. The same yesterday, today, and forever. What law is that? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. And whatever you hold mentally about yourself or others or the world is what you must see on the outside. We call it reaping what you have sown. That is the immutable law. So if you trust that, and I've given you plenty of examples of it. Right now, we are in the season. Some people it's fall. For us, well, listen, it's just winter, okay? The backyard, I need to shovel a pathway out to the back gate because the snow is higher than my boots. But I did set footprints out there, so now I can step into those footprints every time I need to go to the backyard, except for if it's gonna snow, which it's supposed to snow this weekend. Oh, help me, Lord. But you see what we do? You see what we do? You know that it is winter. Now, even if you're in the tropics, you know that you will get 12 hours of daylight. 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, all day. You know this. You set your clock by it. The immutable law. There will be high tide and low tide. It can't be high tide forever and it can't be low tide forever, but they will be an ebb and a flow. It is the immutable law. Come spring, your allergies will tell you, oh my God, pollen is in the air. We think it is love, but it is pollen in the air. That's the immutable law. But Angela, those things just describe nature. Do you think that nature happens randomly or by accident? No, nature occurs by design. And what you do not see is the immutable law running in the background, holding everything together. So if you trust that, it will tell you, it will remind you constantly. The attitude you hold within yourself is the attitude you will exhibit to the world and receive from others. As within, so without. It is the immutable law. So a virtue, if you have it not, let me use my Twitter phone. Hold on. I shouldn't lose Twitter. Let me pull up the dictionary because some of you may or may not believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to understand for yourself. Virtue, definition. Behavior showing high moral standards. A virtue. Now, that may have to do with the Bible, when you hear moral. Okay? When you hear moral. So, in other words, goodness. Put goodness instead of morals. I don't have to tell you to be moral. Nobody does. Morality didn't need to be defined at all. It was only in the presence of immorality where we harm one another because we forgot who we were. If you remember who you are, you would be virtuous. Because why? Not virtuous in the way that man sees virtue, pious and, oh, I am a goody two shoes. I don't make mistakes. I don't sin. That's how the world sees it. But the way God sees it is, you are faithful to the immutable law. How do I know? How can I be so sure? Because you recognize the principles and you see yourself. And when you see yourself, what do? You rise. You respect the self. You love the self. Because who is the self? God. You see, my son will start coming on here with me, not in the mornings, but we'll pick a day, because teenagers and their sleep, right? Teenage boys and their sleep. But he said to me the other night in response to a friend's message, he says, Mom, it is the coolest thing. He goes, it's your body, and then it's you in your body. And I was like, oh, well, tell me more. He's like, it's just this thing. It's you. You can't see it, but you feel it in your body. Now, he's not telling it to me because he knows the principles. He's telling it to me because he lives it and he experiences this thing that he describes as, Mommy, it tells me, or it pulls me, or it pushes me, and I just do what it says. Because every time I do what it says, it works out. And I was like, well, that sounds like you're talking about intuition. He says, I don't know what it's called, but I know what it is. And I was like, wow, okay. I was like, okay, then. So he understands, he comprehends that there's something within him that is him. And he sees it because he has a body. But he knows it. That's the difference. He knows what he is. And so he will be talking more about that to explain his experiences to you so you grasp it from his perspective and comprehending what true intuition is. We think that only some people have intuition. No, everybody has intuition because intuition, inner knowing, inner consciousness, awareness, everybody has it. But it's just a matter of if you're too busy to sense it, to feel it, to know it. So that's why if you don't have the virtue of peacefulness, well, then assume it. Well, what's the behavior of peacefulness? Not letting anything bother you. And do you know why something wouldn't bother you? Because you trust in the immutable law. You know that as within, so without. You know that. You don't believe it. You don't hear about it. You know it through experience, whether through your own life or vicariously through another's life, or just by looking around, you know it. But the best one is the experience. Well, why would something bother you to disrupt your peace of mind? Then you know, oh, well, this person's attitude is just their attitude because that's their state of mind. They've forgotten who they are. And so you don't judge them when you interact with them. You don't judge them, even though you might want to slap them. But you remember and you rein it and you say, oh, he can only be that what he is. He can only be what he is. As within, so without. And until he sees himself as better, he will remain the same. And you know this. So you don't get upset. You're not disrupted because you know something far greater. You comprehend something far greater. So you see where peacefulness comes from? Not because you force it to happen, but because you know something. And the more you know it, you trust it. And the more you trust it, you experience it. Why? Because as within, so without. You will see it for yourself. So today, assume a virtue if you have it not. Peacefulness, joy. And remember, joy doesn't mean, wee, woo, I'm happy 24/7. That's not joy. Okay? Sorry. That's not joy. Because if something happens, you get upset or you get hurt or you get your feelings hurt and or somebody cuts you off in traffic and you feel annoyed, that joy goes right out the window. But true joy comes as a result, as an effect of what? Trusting in the immutable law. Because the immutable law did not get here on its own. God put it here because that is what God is. He is the example of the immutable law. You see the immutable law because it is visible. God is in, seen from within, the invisible, inside, visible. Right? So test yourself today. Let today just be a day of thankfulness and gratitude. Baby, listen, I know, but here's the thing. You can practice. You can be wee. You can do that all day if you want to. See what happens. See what happens because It's an interesting phenomena. As I keep telling you, scientifically, if you fake a smile, you will release endorphins in your body. If you watch someone smile, your body releases endorphins. Wait, what? Yes, if you watch somebody smile, your body releases endorphins. If you smile, you release endorphins. How great is that? You see? When you start to comprehend these things that the scientist tells you, 17 muscles to smile and 30 some odd to frown, well then, choose the path of least resistance. Smile more. And the funny thing is, all you have to do is lift the corners of the mouth, and the body says, oh, incoming smile, release endorphins. Yeah, but Angela, my smile is not pretty. Like, I've got dental issues. Well then, if you have dental issues, use the principles. I'd like my dental issues fixed. What would it be like if you looked in the mirror and you saw a beautiful smile? What would that make you feel like? Well, you'd be grinning from ear to ear for weeks. Because everybody would have to see that smile, wouldn't they? Because that would be natural. You could do something that you weren't able to do before without being self conscious. So, what would that feel like to you to have a beautiful smile? Who would say something to you? Friends and strangers alike. Then you'd be surprised how quickly it would be fixed. Oh, indeed. You don't, you see where we get caught up? We get caught up in, but Angela, you know how expensive the dentist is? Did I tell you to see what it feels like to go to the dentist? No, because that's not fun for anybody. But if you focus on what it would be like for you to smile 24/7 till your face hurts because you are so excited that your smile has been repaired, what would that feel like to you? Some people might call you the Cheshire Cat. Why you always gotta be smiling? But they didn't know you before. And you get an opportunity to say, well, let me tell you why I smile now. And you say, listen, my teeth were so bad, people would make fun of me, or I felt so self conscious and I felt humiliated and I couldn't smile. But I trusted in the immutable law, and I saw myself in the mirror with a most beautiful and fantastic smile. And that's all I did. I saw it and I felt what it would feel like if I had that smile. And then you wouldn't believe what happened. All of these doors open, and then bam, I was in a dentist chair. I don't like the dentist, but it was something I put up with to get this smile that I didn't think I could have before. Now you're not just telling somebody to smile, you're telling them why you smile. That's why we go into the world and make disciples of all men. That's how we do it. By telling them of the experiences of the goodness of God in our lives. But we want to figure out, how am I going to come up with the money? How am I going to come up with the money? The money's not your concern. Your concern is the mental image. What would it feel like to you to have somebody say, wow, your smile is gorgeous? Or have someone say, wow, your skin is gorgeous. When they didn't know you suffered with severe acne, but all of a sudden you look in the mirror and your skin is unblemished? Wouldn't that freak you out if you got up one morning and your skin was not blemished anymore? You say, well, whoa, whose face is this? Assume a virtue if you have it not. Hold that mental image of who you say you want to be. Hold that picture and allow the master artist to recreate it for you. Does that not excite you? It excites me. It removes so much of the burden from you to make it happen. You don't have to force anything to happen. Just assume the virtue of it and it unfolds. This is why, because people say, well, I'm gonna just sit on my couch and be lazy. And if this law works, I don't have to do nothing. The law is not telling you to do anything. The law is simply saying live. Well, how do you think it happens? Because you are alive. And the more you hold that mental image, you are alive. You go out into the world and you meet other people. And it is those other people, not that you need them to do it for you, but they are compelled to assist. They just are. Just like you are compelled to assist in their lives. How? Because, as we say, birds of a feather, right? You'll always come together. But we keep thinking we have to know the right people. You don't have to know the right anybody. You just have to have the mental image and how it feels to you to know that, oh my God, so wait, you're saying to me that all I have to do is hold this image in my mind of what I want. What if I can't hold that image all day? There's a picture of it, isn't there? Cut it out and put it up somewhere so you can see it all the time. Because now it keeps it in the forefront of your mind. And every time you see it, you start to get the feeling. And the feeling registers in your body as a chemical response. And every time you have that chemical response, you are doing something to the outside world. It is like a pebble dropped into the pond. It just ripples out into the whole world. But you don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Heavens, no. I want you to have the experience so you can say, "Ugh, I lived this." So that's the point. You don't stop living, you live. And you experience things according to that mental image. So today, assume a virtue if you have it not. If you say, I'm always on time, I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. You should I have to dig back in the recesses of my mind for that one. But that's your girl. So if you say that you want people to just be so inspired by your artwork, you have to create the artwork. You have to live. And by living, you get inspired to create beautiful pieces. So you can't say, well, I want to be a world renowned chef and never cook. You have to live so that you can experience the beauty of the virtues that you have. Anyhow, don't let me holler at you because I feel like I'm hollering this morning and you know how excited I get. You know I get excited. But oh, be we, Corey's there too. Hey, Corey. But I see you. So Twitter is Twitter. Um, Twitter is Twitter. There's Kitty. Hi, Miss Kitty. I see you. Miss Kitty is in the house. And that's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Who's here on Fanbase? We have the lovely KZ and Miss Ashley in the house today. Oh, hey, everybody. So, as we go out into the world today, for my American brothers and sisters in law, it is your Thanksgiving. So, today, the easiest thing to do is to give thanks because everybody is allegedly in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Right? So just give thanks for the smallest things, for the smallest, and you will find bigger and bigger things to say thank you for today. And as you say thank you, oh, I really appreciate that. When you do that today, notice something will change within you. You will see it, you will feel it. You will have an experience that is absolutely beautiful. Listen, your whole day could be beautiful experiences. You won't know till you do it. So today's virtue is being thankful, having gratitude, but we cannot fake our gratitude because we say thank you for things we have received. So what are you receiving today? Hmm? What are you receiving? See about that and say, you know what? Thank you. You don't have to give a monologue. You just, thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks. Doesn't matter if somebody cusses you out. Ho, loser. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what anybody says. If somebody says, hey girl, I haven't seen you in forever. You're looking good. Listen, you pop your collar and you say, why, thank you. That's why you just let today be the virtue of thankfulness and gratitude. And you will experience something beautiful unfold like a blossom in spring. You see, I have to pretend it is spring right now. Because I'm cold. Brr, it is cold. But anyhow, Matthias, I see you, Matthias. I thank you all, each and every one of you, for being here and spending time with us on this glorious Thanksgiving. I thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Because shoot, you could have slept in. Like the country song says, I shaved my legs for this. You could have slept in, right? But here you are. And so for that, I am thankful that you got to share in the word with me this morning. So, in this beautiful morning, which chime am I gonna grab today? Not the evening one. We'll grab the AM chime. Ah, I have them hanging on the door. All that racket. We're gonna play the AM, the morning chime, for a few minutes. And as you hear the chime, you might get chicken. I don't know. He's quiet now, but when you hear the chime this lovely morning, find something within yourself to say thank you for. Hmm? Assume a virtue if you have it not. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you today. Remember, assume a virtue if you have it not. And I will see you tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to fall asleep with us as we read Freedom for All, Chapter 4 by Neville Goddard. Much love, everybody, much love. Twitter is closed.